Welcome back, everybody. Holiday Doc here. Domination on firing range. You know, a map I've personally had a little bit of trouble with throughout the past here, and I'm always striving to learn new things and better myself as a player on this map in particular. Now, when I have, the chance to go back and watch gameplay like we're doing right now, and coming off a stint of not playing for 4 days, and then getting into a competitive game, I catch things where I'm just like, what were you doing, Doc? Like, as somebody who's always trying to improve other people's gameplay and give advice, even myself, I forget that advice sometimes, and I do silly things. But when I go back and I watch, I'm like, this is something I preach to people about that I didn't follow right there. Why didn't I do that? Or why did I go ahead and move to that spot? And so here's the video, firing range domination. Now we're playing in the OTC tournament, and I'm with some people that have made leaps and bounds with their gameplay over the course of the last week, or 4 weeks now, I guess, 3 weeks. And it's quite amazing to see the change and, just the general differences and the slight differences that they've made to their own gameplay just by playing in this tournament with myself, and taking a little bit of advice with them each time we play. And you know me, I hate to lose and I try to be as civil as I can, but I hate to lose. And there's been a couple games where I'm just like, man, we shouldn't have lost. If you guys would have been there, you would have been there. We could have countered that, and it's all a learning experience, and I give it up to everybody who is involved with the OTC tournament that has opened their mind to a different style of play, and I hope they take this as a positive learning experience, and maybe they'll be interested in doing it again. But talking about things where I'm just like, are you okay, Doc? What were you thinking? And I think this is one of them. Like, where's that nade gonna go? And to be honest, I thought I was gonna be spawning on back white washroom, so I was already holding down my grenade button as I spawned. And then when I spawned backside A, I was just like, I gotta toss this nade now. And I tried to position myself for the betterment of the team. Regardless of if that left me, wide open or in a bad position, I always tried to convey with the team, hey, I need to go over here, we need to go over here, and, try to at least control the spawns. This is a fairly new team. I'm the only guy on this team with any sort of relative competitive experience, so I'm trying to, kind of corral people into the right zones on this map. So when I see, somebody in particular who's going down on C Jeep, I'm like, you got to back up. And then when I see him on C Jeep, then I push into white. And white is going to allow for those spawns to head down south. And when they go down into firing range, or they should have, they spawned washroom right there and back white. So it's hard to kind of predict everything. But, for the most part, we try to nail down as much as we could and get the spawns in our favor for as long as possible. Now, domination on firing range is one of those maps where a successful 3-cap is definitely doable. It takes some practice and it takes some knowledge of the game, but when you do it, it ends up working out for your team really well. But when you see my teammates who move down into firing range chasing after those kills, that right there, that spawn flops us and that pushes us in reverse. Now we're spawning down there. That's one of those spawns you never want to get caught in. And I don't know, there's some silly stuff where I'm just like looking at myself here playing, like throwing that stun. That stun should have bounced off the back wall and I would have stunned both those and got both those kills had I been in a better spot there and thrown that a little bit better. And Shazzy's been doing a lot of work in our games lately. He's one of those players that has dramatically increased his play skill over the last couple weeks here, and kudos to him on that. He's really taken a lot out of this, and I can definitely see him taking a little bit of interest. And when I push up top sandbags there, one thing I like to do when countering the B flag is make sure if I have a nade, I throw that nade. Because most of the time, offenders that are jumping on B flag are already looking up top sandbag. So even if you do get picked, that nade is your secondary defensive mechanism where, you know, even if you get picked, that nade's probably going to take him out, and it'll probably take out the second guy jumping on board with him on B as well. And, you know, now I jump up into Crow's Nest, just trying to get a central position to watch bottom and then up top. And as we spawn bottom, I hear the nade get thrown up there, and, you know, right here, I pull out a lucky one as D-Chip there tried throwing a grenade at me. I decided to rush in instead and grab the kill with my pistol. And that's another thing I really need to stress is, you know, instead of looking for that reload all the time, and you see it more with more amateur players, that they're always looking to reload instead of using their secondary. You know, you got to practice with that secondary, because the amount of times where it comes in handy is far more beneficial than, you know, throwing down a reload. Even if you do have sleight of hand, you need to practice with it, and definitely do that. You know, get some practice with that handgun. You know, whatever works best for you. You know, personally, I've been using the Python for a while, and just because the ASP does pull out quicker and reload quicker, but it takes significantly more bullets on target to actually kill. So the Python 2 or 3. And here's one of those instances, you know, I'm not checking my corners. You know, I'm not checking my right before engaging the target in front of me. And that's one thing I'm always striving to do. You know, make sure you're picking the correct targets in front of you. You know, the guys that are going to shoot back are always your primary targets, not the guy running away. And had I turned and got that initial kill on, you know, right side of map room here, where I'm just killing this guy now, I could have, you know, popped over and then killed the second guy who was jumping up into top 10. You know, that's the ability. You know, hindsight's always 20/20. You know, and, you know, looking back at your gameplay, you know, even if you don't have a capture card, you know, you have things in recent games, check it out. You know, it's amazing what you can go back and just be like, you know, that was a silly play. If I would have done this would have happened. It would have been beneficial for me. I would have secured a position or gained some map control for my team. And towards the end here, I think we kind of lose balance, and we go from a really great secure positioning to getting triple capped. And, you know, in the last 35 seconds with the lead that we had, you know, we're still gonna win this round, but, you know, you never want to give up points that you don't need to. And right here is another instance where that's a popular place for offenders to be, is in that corner in main court. Why didn't I check it? You know, and just those little things like that I pick up on the next time, and, you know, I try to learn from, you know, and I can't explain why, you know, I preach things and then do others, but it is what it is. Nobody's perfect. This has been another OTC tournament gameplay. I hope you enjoy it, and thanks again for everybody on the OTC side of things. I'm Holiday Doc, and I'm out here.